Welcome everyone to your weekly pick a card reading. This is for Monday the 29th of August to Sunday the 4th of September, or for whenever you come across this reading, as the messages in this reading are timeless. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that these messages will resonate and will guide you in the week ahead. Let's get started. Okay everyone, these are our 4 piles for this week. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3 and pile number 4. We've got a turquoise for pile number 1, amber for pile number 2, a tiger's eye for pile number 3 and a howlite for pile number 4. So as usual, just select a pile or piles that you are drawn to. Take the messages as they resonate, and I hope these readings help you for the week ahead. Welcome pile number 1. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. We have the 5 of Pentacles and the 3 of Wands. We have the Wise Counsel, which is the Hierophant in traditional tarot. We have Move. We have the Stag Spirit. And we have Know Your Fears. Okay. Let me just grab the energies for you. Beautiful. Oh, I'm very drawn to this card. I don't know. Let's see what messages come. Okay, your first card is Move. A rolling stone gathers no moss. I don't know if you can see that. Actually, just let me see if I can focus this a bit for you. I think that's going to be better. Let's have a look. There we go. I feel that this card is talking about movement in the general sense of, you know, make sure we take time to walk and to move our bodies, especially that I feel that leading into September's going to be a lot of soul searching and a lot of aligning with our path, with our inner guidance. But I feel this is saying also, and probably more so, is, have you hit a comfort zone, pole number 1? You know, have you stayed still for so long that moss has started to grow on you? You know, are you that comfortable? And there's nothing wrong with a comfort zone. There's nothing wrong with finding a time in our life where we feel settled and we feel comfortable. But I feel that something is calling you. There's some possible fears you need to face. And we'll have a look at that as we look at the other cards. But I feel pole number 1, this could literally be in the sense of a move, a physical move of a home or a place. Moving your body, have you become too stagnant, too, I don't want to say lazy, because lazy has such a negative aspect to it. But have you slowed down, pole number 1, to the point that you really don't move anymore? I'm not getting a feeling of being stuck. I'm getting a feeling that this is comfortable. It's nice. And that's probably why you don't want to move. We have the stag spirit, and it says take the lead. And the first thing that came to mind as I read this was others are watching. So sometimes, and we shouldn't put all this pressure on ourselves, but sometimes when you show others that something is possible, it's like actions talk so much more than words. And it's in this belief of your dreams, belief of yourself, this will to do something different with yourself, with your life. Other people see that, and at first they might not, what's the word? It's not appreciate. They might not understand it. They might think, what are you doing? But that's their fears coming to the surface. That's them putting themselves in your position and going, oh my God, I wouldn't do that. But this stag spirit, it says take the lead, and it means whatever you are doing, it's going to show possibilities to others. You know, if somebody achieves the impossible, suddenly the impossible becomes possible to so many. When you see somebody overcoming all obstacles and achieving a dream, suddenly that gives you wings, because you're like, wow, they did it. I can. And that's what stag spirit is here to say in this reading. You might not even notice, pole number 1, that other people are watching. You might think that this is a nothing. This might be all internal work. You might think people don't even notice, but they are. And then you have know your fears. And I love the image on this card, because it's like smoke or cloud or fog. You know, you can see things in there, can't you? You can make images up with clouds or smoke, and you know, if you wave your hands, well, not with clouds, but with smoke, and you can wave your hand about and it disperses. And this card is in the image. The fears are not grounded in reality. You know, we have fears that are, and fears that are grounded in reality are the fears of not having enough money in the bank to pay for our rent for this week or this month. Not having enough to be able to put petrol in your car. Starting a new job and not knowing what to do. And they're fears that are grounded in reality. And they're a fear that, okay, that's where you find yourself and it makes you afraid. But you can take steps towards it. You know, if you can't pay your rent, you can take the physical step to call the landlord and say, look, I'm really sorry, da 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 da. When you start a new job, you walk in and you're shaky, your voice might shake. You might feel self-conscious and awkward. But you do. There is something you can physically do about it. You do your job. They'll get you to answer telephone calls. They'll get you to do this. And yes, your voice might shake and you might stumble and you might need help. But in the practical fears have a action-based outlet. There is an action you can take to disperse them. These fears are the fears that turn in your head, keep you up at night, and there's no action you can take. They're the fear of the unknown, fears that you don't believe things are possible, fears that, well, what will people think if I change so much or if my life changes so much? It's those type of fears that also teach us about ourselves. They teach us where we block ourselves, where we trip ourselves up. They show us in ways that we self-sabotage ourselves. So there might be fears this week, pole number 1, that surface. And Spirit is saying, don't brush them aside, don't get annoyed, or don't fall into the fear and run with it. Go, oh, is that how I'm feeling? Is that what I'm thinking? And still move forward. And we've got the Six of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles is the balance. And I feel like you're going to be balancing out these two energies, because taking the lead, you know, and just looking at the stag, it's standing proud, it's confident, it's real. This is illusion. And it's balancing out the two. It's also balancing out the fear of lack with the belief in abundance. And I feel that maybe this week, pole number 1, it's going to be a balancing act as you learn to move out of a comfort zone into the unknown. And you might turn between the two, go between the two. I always find when I get the Six of Pentacles, it's always, don't get stuck in a place of lack. Don't feel that where you are now is as good as it gets. Trust that there is more coming. There's more to learn. There's more to receive. There's more to give. And sometimes all it starts with is a mindset. Now you've got the Three of Wands, and this is waiting for your ships to come in. So you've been doing something, or you've been contemplating. Maybe that's why you've got the Move card. It's time to get moving. Maybe you've embraced this Three of Wands too soon. Maybe you're waiting for things to come to you, when in actual fact this is a time where you should be taking action. It's difficult sometimes to know. We can get caught up in the waiting just as much as we can get caught up in the pushing and the doing. And again, balance. Balance is going to be so important. Balancing your fears with your confidence. Balancing the known and the unknown. Balancing when to move and when to be in a position of receiving. This is looking out and saying, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. And the Three of Wands is also a caution. You know, you can stay there and nothing will ever happen. You also need to take action on your dreams. A dream, an idea, never becomes anything unless you take the steps to bring it to life. And that's that balancing. And we finish with the wise counsel. Now in traditional tarot, this is the Hierophant. And the card says, unity with a spiritual minded community. Ask the divine for help and trust the answers will come. Compare traditional methods with new ideas to see which is best for you. And I feel with the Hierophant here, I feel the old way that you thought or that you did things, your old beliefs, I feel they're falling away. You're moving away from them. You're embracing the new. And this is Taurus. And Taurus can be a little stubborn sometimes. They're quite a fixed earth sign, which makes them fixed, very fixed. So balance out that energy if you're feeling a little bit stubborn, a little bit like you've dug your heels in. It's a card of looking at what you want to take with you on your next journey as well. You know, there's wisdom that you've gained from past journeys. Now that's not, we don't throw all those away all the time. They get us to a certain point, and sometimes our ideas change and therefore we then change. But sometimes the wisdom gained in past journeys we take with us for the rest of our journeys. So I really feel pole number one for you this week. It's really going to be a balancing of the new and the old. The moving forward and knowing when to look out and receive. Balancing of confidence and fears. I feel this week might feel a little bit slow for you, pole number one, but I feel it's setting you up for September, October, November, December, till the end of the year. So you can finish off 2002 really ready, completely open to embrace the new that 2023 is going to bring us. Beautiful reading, pole number one. Love and light, my friends. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number two. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. The High Priestess, the Lovers, wow. Ooh. And the Ten of Cups, wow. You've got Grow, Parrot Spirit, and Be Vigilant. I can already see very clearly where this is going. Beautiful energy, pole number two. Let's get started. So your first card is Grow, and it says, all flowers must grow through dirt. And it's basically, we grow through difficulties. And it's not pleasant, and it's not easy, and most of us try to run from challenges as much as we can. But if you have a moment this week, poll number 2, look back at challenges you had in your life in the past and see what came of them. I think one thing that maybe we don't do enough, and we really need to, is when we go through challenging times, especially during and directly after, we need to look at the messages in that. We need to be more curious about why, for starters, we had to go through that difficulty, and what in us, what belief, what way of thinking or doing things brought on that challenge. Because the more we can get curious and the more we can dig into the dirt, the more likely we are to plant good future seeds, but also to understand what went wrong. So if we go back to the flower analogy in the dirt, you know, if you plant a flower and it dies straight away, well, sometimes if you do a little bit of digging, you can see, oh, I planted in sand. You know, there's 1 centimetre of dirt and the rest is sand. There's no nutrients, there's nothing. Or I planted and directly underneath there's a rock. So there was no place for the roots to grow, so it died. Little things like that, this is what it teaches us. So then we either fix the soil, we remove the rock, or we plant somewhere else. We make different choices next time. And I think this grow card is here, poll number 2, because I feel like you're embarking on a really heartfelt soul journey. Now this could be with the lovers here, it can be romantic. It can be just even meeting your soul tribe. It can just be fulfilling a dream that you've probably been incubating for a long time. It's been in the back of your mind. You've never really forgotten it, but you never took steps towards it. And the challenges that are going to come are just going to remind you that if you want to plant a beautiful garden, you've got to get your hands dirty. You're going to get some soil under your nails. There's work involved. And there's trial and error. Not all the plants will survive straight away. You have parrot spirit, and it says watch your words. And I'm going to read these 2 cards together because I think they explain. I'm seeing the parrot spirit because the vigilant card is here. I'm seeing it very different to how I normally read it. And I kind of see him flying in on this very precious seed you're nurturing. I feel, poll number 2, this dream that you've been nurturing, you either feel somebody's going to pinch your idea, or it's not going to be well received, or maybe you're just not quite sure how to manifest it, how to bring it into the world. So you're guarding it safe. And I feel that this week's reading is saying that's the perfect place for it. there's still too much to work out. You're not in a position where you can bring it to life yet. Watch your words. The parrot spirit here is saying, guard it close to your heart. There are some people that you can tell the lovers is here, that's sharing, but you'll know who to share this dream with and who just not to talk about it. And I feel that that's because other people's words, I think Spirit is mindful that they might put you off. They might keep you, they might have you locking that dream away for a good period of time again. And that's not what Spirit wants for your pole number 2. Spirit wants you to hold this dream. I even want to say the word longing, because I think it's a longing in your heart to be different, or to do something different, to have a different life. And it really, like, I just see the chest of the dragon. I just see this, it's not a heart, but I just see it like a big heart. I just feel like it's his heart. And it's guarding it safe. You know, if any parrots come down to swoop, he'll just close his wings over it and it's fully protected. And I feel that Spirit is saying, protect your dream, keep it to yourself. And this could be because, pole number 2, when we have dreams sometimes, they start off as dreams. They start off not concrete at all. They're just a bunch of ideas, or a feeling, a longing, a wanting. And sometimes we can't even explain it to ourselves, let alone try to explain it to somebody else. And for some reason, and you know this, and if you have that feeling, Spirit is just letting you know you are right in this. Keep it close to your heart until you can make a move on it, until you can do something concrete. It'll keep the words of others, the opinions of others at bay, because already you'll have a bit of an action plan. You don't have that action plan now because you're still in the dreaming stage. You've got the seed. You've planted it in your heart because you know there's a longing for it. But don't plant it out into the garden until it's become a seedling, where the birds won't eat the seed before it's had time to grow. I love that the High Priestess is here, because she's all what's hidden, and it just reinforces that this dream is deep inside of you. And I'm wondering, with the High Priestess here, are some of you just starting to remember it, or just realizing that it's there? And it's not in the tangible world. Not yet. The Ten of Cups tells us that it will be, and it'll bring you fulfillment on all levels. But you're at the, I want to say, the wishing stage. You're at the point of making this real in your mind, picturing this Ten of Cups, picturing this dream. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What are you like in it? when the High Priestess comes up, there's no clarity in, I want to say, the steps that you need to take. This is all inside of us. This is the magic of believing in our soul, believing and trusting in our higher self, and also in something bigger than us. And you're going to pull this curtain aside and have a peek into your soul, into what you really want. And this pole number 2 is going to drive you so much that there's no resistance here, none at all. You're going to take your little seed and you are going to protect it, and you are going to grow. You're going to grow it. You're going to feed that dream inside of you first. So much so that you are going to know it through and through. And so when you start to take those steps in the world where doubts and fears can really consume us, I feel you will go through those fears, but that's just human. But they won't stop you, because this period has cemented this dream in your heart so much that you cannot not do this. And you have the Lovers card. And I feel this is, it could be you wanting a romantic relationship. It could be you wanting, to share the love of what you do with the world, to share your gifts with the world, to find your soul tribe, your soul place. And I feel this is choosing between your reality as you see it now and what you know is possible from your dreams. And you're willing to let go of all the facade, of all the masks that you wear. Go back to the nakedness of you, your true authentic self, in order to manifest this dream. It's probably a bit full on to say pole number 2, but I believe that you will follow this dream. You will follow this. It's your soul's path, no matter what the cost. And you'll be guided. You'll be so guided. And ultimately, you'll be so grateful that you did. Pole number 2, you finish with the 10 of Cups. That is complete fulfillment in whatever way you see fulfillment as. It is dreams coming true. The card says a happy marriage, happily ever after, emotional contentment, a loving relationship with your children, raising children wisely and successfully, people you can trust. This is joy and happiness in whatever way. It mentions marriage, it mentions children, it mentions being surrounded by people that are trustworthy, that have your back. But it can be anything that fulfills you. Pole number 2, this is not the journey of a week, but this week something is going to call you, or something is going to happen, and it's going to crack open your heart that holds this seed. And it's something that you've been incubating for a while, something that's been at the back of your mind that possibly you'd forgotten, or that you'd put on the back burner. Maybe one day your soul's gonna wake you up so much that you just make the choice to follow it with a full and open heart. Oh, beautiful reading, pole number 2. So, so special. Keep your dreams close to your heart and watch them grow. Keep them growing. Love and light, my friends. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 3. Welcome to this week's reading. Let's have a look at what Spirit wants to tell you for this week ahead. So we have the 3 of Pentacles, the 8 of Wands, and the 4 of Pentacles. We have persevere. Oh, that sun's coming in now, it's beautiful. We have the Spider Spirit and protect the wild and green. Beautiful. Oh, I love how you've got the mirroring green here. Very, very nice. Okay, let's have a look. Pole number 3. What messages does Spirit have for you? Persevere. Leave no stone unturned. So what are you doing this week, pole number 3, that really is asking you to search for a truth? Have you started something new and you're kind of stumbling your way through it a little bit, or that's how you feel? Keep going. This card is one that, you know, keep going, don't give up. And if something's not working like you would have liked, is there another way you can do this? Is there another way you can go about it? You know, often we give up after a few tries, but we haven't exhausted every avenue. We probably haven't even conceived every avenue. I feel that Spirit is saying for your pole number 3, don't give up on your dreams before you've had a chance to bring them forth. And we've got the Spider Spirit here. And it says, make your dreams real. I'm wondering, have you gotten stuck too much in your head? Where your mind is turning, trying to figure out how am I going to make the dream real? But you haven't as yet taken any real action in the world where you can see what actually is going to work and isn't going to work. Because yes, the process has to start in our mind. We think about our dreams, we visualize them. Then we think about how we can make them happen. But if we don't ever take steps to make them happen, then it's all hypothetical, isn't it? We might come up with an idea, but if we don't try that idea, we'll never really know. And that's what making your dreams real is. It's spinning that web and see what sticks to it. You know, a spider might have to make a web every night for a week until it finds that perfect spot, which is a flight path for the flies. But if it just built one web and just said, no, I've built it, now they have to come, it might never get anywhere. It's that kind of energy that Spirit is asking you to embrace, pole number 3. is look and look again, try and try again. And this takes a lot of belief in yourself, belief in the universe. Because it's not easy to try something and for it to be fruitless. You know, our confidence takes a knock when that happens. But persevere. Leave no stone unturned. Now that's persevering. And Spirit is saying it might not be how or where you thought. So you might be avoiding this thought or this area or this action because you think, oh no. What's the saying? We find our destiny on the path we choose to avoid it, or something like that. I've probably really butchered that, so I apologize, pole number 3. But you know what I'm trying to say. Is there an area that you're avoiding? I'm just saying, I'd probably start there first, pole number 3. And then we have the card Protect the Wild and Green. This is protecting the sprouts of ideas. This is protecting what's young. So it could be protecting the young and because they're a little bit more wild. But this is also, and this is the sense I get in your reading because of the dreams here, our dreams are wild and green. Our dreams are wild because a dream is often out there, isn't it? Until we can think of a way to cement it in reality. It can seem wild and impossible, you know, a wild notion. And it's green. It's that seed just starting to sprout. It's a little seedling that needs protection. It needs care. You forget to water an adult plant for a week and it'll probably start to show signs of stress, but it'll probably survive. You don't water your seedling for a week and it'll die. And that's, I'm wondering, pole number 3, if you've just maybe got a dream and you've just started to take action on it, or you've just had an idea that is starting to turn into a bit of a dream, a little bit of a, I really want to do this. It's going to take perseverance, and it's going to take looking after it. It's going to take nurturing it and protecting it and allowing it to grow. If you were drawn to pole number 2, so pole number 3, if when you were trying to choose your pole, if you were a little bit drawn to pole number 2, watch it. Pole number 2 is along similar sort of lines to you. Very, very, very interesting, very beautiful. And then you have the 3 of Pentacles. So I wonder, pole number 3, are you trying to turn a creative, something that you really love creatively, that you love creating, something like a hobby, are you trying to turn that into a job? To be able to make a living out of it? Have you just realized what your natural talents and skills are? And are you looking to making a living out of those? The 3 of Pentacles for me is always a bit of career. It's learning. Could even be studying. It's the apprentice. It's honing in on your skills. It's also service. I always find, he's doing a service for others. So it's finding a way that your gifts and talents, what you're interested in, how can you turn that into a service that you can offer others? And that is not easy to do more often than not. Because when our natural talents and abilities often we think are, I'm going to say not worthy of anything, but it's not exactly what I mean, but it's just in the sense that they come so naturally to us, we wonder why anybody would pay us for it, how we could turn it into a living. And I feel like that's this wild and green that you're being asked to protect. Your natural skills and talents. How can you grow them? Do you need to do some more study? Can you find a way, a profession where you can use them? Because that's going to make your dreams real. And I'm wondering with this persevere card, whatever this dream may be, and it might not be in work, it might not be trying to turn something in a profession into a job or something that you can actually make a living out of, but I'm feeling for most of you it will be along those lines. And there are so many professions out there that we don't even know about. Maybe you'll be creating something completely new. Maybe the way you do something, the way you present it, the way you are, it doesn't fit into anything that is out there at the moment. You'll do it your way. You'll find a way. And we have the Eight of Wands. Now, this energy is fast. So the Eight of Wands always denotes great speed. The Wands is your soul, your passions. And this can also be messages coming in, receiving things. And I feel that once you start on this, once you start even broadening your like what you're looking at, you might broadening the fields of where you think, how to make this dream real. Broadening the areas that you look at, the jobs you look at, the people you talk to, all sorts of things. It's just really broadening. Leave no stone unturned. There's a lot of stones out there. So it's really broadening your vision. Are you being too tunnel vision? Do you need to just turn your head, or just take off those side blinkers that are making you think I can only do it this way? The Eight of Wands is telling you there's multiple ways that you can bring this to reality. And I feel that once you get this message, and generally it comes from somebody else, everything's going to speed up. So if you're feeling a little bit lethargic, pole number 3, you're feeling like things are going a bit too slow for you, you're just feeling like, I just can't seem to just, figure it out. It's okay. Just persevere, just keep going, because somewhere there's going to be this message that comes through, and then everything's just going to, you're just going to find a way to manifest it. There'll be a course, there'll be a mentor, there'll be a realization, and it can include other people. There's the Three of Pentacles here that can denote others, but it can just be purely you. And then we finish with the Four of Pentacles, and the card says, managing your resources wisely, extremes in how you give or receive money, time or emotions, smart business decisions, seeing things as black or white, being charitable. Now the Four of Pentacles in traditional tarot is the man holding onto his pentacles and standing on his pentacles, and like really it's holding on very, very tightly. And I love how the card says seeing things black or white. That comes back to persevere. You know, you might just be seeing, I can either do it this way or that way, but somehow it doesn't really fit. It's not true. You're not protecting this dream. And so you need to let go. You need to let go of how you thought it might be, or how you thought you might bring it to reality. And maybe, you know, the Pentacles, you know, can be often about money, and holding on tightly like that to the Pentacles. Are you afraid that this dream, are you not willing to persevere because you think this dream won't be profitable? You won't be able to live off it. You won't have enough. And that's not, they're not silly fears to overcome. They're real fears. We have to live, survive and thrive in the real world. You know, we need to be able to pay our bills. We need to be able to feed ourselves and shelter ourselves. So they're real fears. They're not to be just discarded. But when the Four of Pentacles shows up, it's often fears that we are afraid of, but that might not really be the case. You might find yourself not having as much money as you used to as you bring your dream off the ground. When you start a business, you might miss the money that you made when you worked for somebody else, because, well, when you have your own business, the money is not a given. One week it might be great, the next week it might not be enough. But it doesn't mean that you won't have enough to survive and to slowly learn to thrive, and to slowly begin to thrive. Sometimes when we follow our dreams, we have to take a step sideways. It might feel like we're going backwards, but because we're following a dream, we're going forwards. But we might have to sidestep where we feel like, oh, we're fulfilling a dream, but we're not prospering, we're not abundant. That takes time to come. Just persevere. Pole number 3, that's basically your message. Persevere. With whatever you're doing, with whatever you're called to do, keep going. I'm going to leave you with those messages, pole number 3. Thanks very much for joining me today. Love and light, my friends. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 4. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you for this week. We have the Five of Swords, the Knight of Swords, transformation, which is the Tower in the traditional tarot. Oh, we have Twilight. We have Seahorse Spirit, and we have Love that you are different. Beautiful. Let me just grab the energies pole number 4 for this reading. Okay. So we start with Twilight. Surrender to the last hour when the light barely touches the flowers. Surrender to the last hour when the light barely touches the flowers. I think there's a surrendering to the unknown. You know, in that last hour, it's just before it becomes really dark, but there's shadows. Things aren't well lit. So we can feel a lot of fear in those times, a lot of uncertainty, lack even. But like the card says, the flowers are still there whether you can see them or not. Opportunities are still there whether you can see them or not. And it's when we surrender, that's when we see opportunities. Because when you find yourself in an area of shadows, the odd thing is we don't tend to look into the places of where there's light. We tend to try to peer into the shadows to see what's lurking in those shadows. But if we turned and looked at the areas that are well lit, we would just put ourselves in those areas because we'd be able to see, instead of heading towards the shadows to try and see what's in those, because that increases our fear. When we sit in the light, it means we sit in understanding and clarity. So fears can still get hold of us in that place, but not for long. The fear might come up, but straight away we'll be able to say, I'm just afraid because I'm scared of the unknown, or I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this. So you can see clearly even what your fear is. But when you go to the shadows and you try to peer in and make out shapes, fears can really grab hold of you then. Because your fear has gotten hold of you and you're running with it before you've even had time to go, hang on a minute. So fear might be something you need to work through this week, pole number 4. And spirits, you've got Seahorse Spirit here, which says watch and wait. Now for me, this has two, I mean, it can have many meanings, but for me in this reading, there's two. There's watch and wait and see what the universe has planned for you. And it's also watch and wait. You've put something out into the world. Watch and wait to see what's going to come back. Don't go, you've got the Knight of Swords here. Don't go rushing off before you've got clarity on which direction. And I find it very interesting in this reading that you've got this love that you are different. And I'm getting the feeling in this reading that you don't, pole number 4. I feel that you're starting to change. Your beliefs are starting to change. What used to be very important to you might no longer be very important. You might be starting to change the way you look to become more aligned with how you feel and who you've become. And I get the feeling, because this watch and wait and this love that you are different, they've got their backs to each other. I feel like you're almost afraid to show the different you to the world. You know, it's almost as if the world is coming here and the seahorse spirit is saying, watch and wait. Face the future. Face the world. Watch and wait to see what's going to come. And I feel, pole number 4, you've got your back and you're like, oh no, I don't want to see people's reactions. I don't want to hear what they've got to say, because I get the feeling you feel that there's going to be judgment in that, or negative, or negativity, or ridicule. But you're different to how you were before. And the seahorse spirit is here to say, just watch. I think you're going to be quite amazed, pole number 4, that when you really start to reveal the you that you are now, people are going to be more drawn to you than what they were before. People are going to resonate with this new you. Not everybody. But I think you're going to be quite amazed. And you've got the 5 of Swords. And this is my pick your battles card. You don't have to be right. You don't have to prove that you're right all the time. Sometimes saying nothing is more important than saying something. And I'm wondering, I know this is not the 5 of Wands, which is the 7 of Wands, where you feel you have to defend yourself. But I feel that you're going to feel with your words, you're going to feel that you have to justify, show people that this change in you is right. You don't have to do that, pole number 4. Just be you. Come out of the shadows and step into that dappled light. Let people see who you are. I feel like the Knight of Swords is here, and this is speed. This can be foolhardy energy sometimes, racing off before you've really had time to think of a plan. It's taking action at its strongest, basically. And I feel that with this new you that's emerging, and this is the Tower. In traditional tarot transformation, but this is the Tower. You're transforming so much and so fast that you won't be able to hide it from others. And Spirit is saying, don't. You don't have to, if we read these energies together, you don't have to put it in everybody's face. You don't hide from it, but you don't have to go, well, this is me and like it or lump it, or, you know, this is me and I'm doing this and this and this and you should be changing too, or whatever, however that's going to come out for you. But I hope that you understand kind of how I'm trying to explain this for you, pile number 4. Sometimes we can get defensive, and when we get defensive, we come out fighting. We try to protect ourselves. We try to make other people have made us feel small, or we feel other people have judged us or ridiculed us. So we feel like, oh, we have to make them feel bad about themselves because they've made us feel bad about ourselves. But in actual fact, their digs or whatever they say, which by the way is just in your mind, that's not at all how they're going to react. This is you. The swords is your mind. This is how you think they're going to react. You think they're going to react in such a way that you have to defend yourself. You have to fight and be right and be the last man standing and challenge other people's points of view so that you feel comfortable in the way that you have changed. You'll challenge them in what they believe and what they see as their truth, because you're going to want validation that your truth is the truth, which we all have our different truths. We all have our different ways of looking at things, our different perceptions. And nobody can tell you that yours is wrong. Yours is right for you right now. And you can't tell that others, for them, it's wrong because they are where they are right now and that's where they need to be. You won't charge into battle with your intellect and your words to defend yourself. And the transformation card, I'll read what the card says. A significant life experience that requires changes to be made. Powerful and often unexpected revelations. Breaking free from procrastination. Releasing old belief systems. The transformation in you is going to change your life, and it does. That's where the saying comes from. If you want to change the world, start by you. Because when you change, your life changes. We can't expect new experiences if we are not prepared to change. You can't step into the new if you want to stay in the old. It just don't work. Now this transformation is going to have an impact on you, pole number 4. It's going to have you feeling a little bit unsure of yourself, which is perfectly normal, because when we change, we're learning who this new person is. What do I believe in now? What are my goals and dreams now? And it's so easy to often go back to our old ways because we've been doing them for so long that they're almost an instinct. Somebody says this and it's a habit to reply like that. But when everything about you is changing and it is so different from how you were before, you've kind of got to stop and think about everything. So your world crumbles. You know, in the traditional tarot, the tower is, you know, the lightning's hit it and it's broken, it's crumbling. And so our life tends to feel like it's crumbling around us because the new you, pole number 4, wants to rebuild in a different way, with the new knowledge and wisdom that you have, with your new beliefs. And this transformation is going to have you moving away from this energy. When we really gain wisdom, when we gain understanding in our path and also in the path of others, like others' paths and journeys, we become much more understanding and compassionate and kind, because we understand that we are all on paths, but they are all different. And we're on different parts of our path. So somebody that's nearing the end of their path might be exhausted. They've learnt so much, but they might be feeling a little broken from all the lessons and the challenges. But they'll also be feeling a certain amount of confidence because they've moved through a lot of the lessons. They might be a place of deep healing. Now that the lessons have passed, they can heal the wounds that those lessons left behind. Somebody at the beginning of their path might be excited and exuberant and, energetic to get going because there is excitement in a new journey, but they might be afraid. And they might say the wrong things, and they might stumble, and they might get caught in fears, and so they're kind of all over the place. One minute they're excited and happy, the next minute they're depressed and hiding because their fears and doubts have overtaken them. And then there's everything in between. And we meet each other from all these stages. And we have to have compassion because we don't know the path of another. And even if we can give advice because our past path seemed a bit similar, theirs is still different. And I'm saying this pole number 4 to show you that your path is different. And your path is wonderful. It's your path. Embrace it. Embrace who you've become. Embrace this life that is changing or has changed. Embrace the new path that's going to begin. Your tower's coming down. You've transformed. You're going to start a new journey. And trust that it's the perfect thing for you. And don't be harsh on others, because that's your perception. That's how you think people are going to act, what you think people are going to say. And some might, but a lot won't. Beautiful reading, pole number 4. Keep growing, keep changing, embrace this new you. And watch and wait. Spirit has things planned for you. And I think you'll be surprised. Don't hide. The new you that's emerging is more beautiful than anything you've ever seen before. I'm going to leave you with those messages, pole number 4. Love and light, my friends. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.